Well, much like last season, Serie A is shaping up to have one of the closest title races in Europe. Currently, just 1 point is separating first and second place. And a few match days ago, we showed you which of the best teams have the best percentages by Opta to win the title in a pizza pie chart, wasn't it? Today, Marco, though, who didn't really agree with it, is going to present his chance for the contenders, and then the boys are going to tell you why and why not they will win the Scudetto. So, Marco, why don't you give us your new percentages?
Yeah, I don't like all these supercomputers, Opta, whatever it is. I never agree with them. I didn't agree with them last year where they had 50%. And by the way, Papa, you're saying one of. This is the most exciting race, the tightest race in all of Europe. So forget about your goal stat. This is how I'm breaking it up. I think Napoli, as I've said since the summer, they have the best chance of winning the Scudetto. For many of the reasons I repeated, they have the best coach, the most winning coach in the league, who prioritizes Serie A over any other competition that he's in. Inter, we get into this debate all the time. They have the most are they the best team? They have the most quality out of any players, they do. But they're a team that concedes too many goals. They've conceded the same amount of goals as Parma, who are in 17th place. And by the way, they lost 3 out of their first 8 games. In the last 50 years of Serie A, only one team's ever been able to win the Scudetto when losing that many games early on. Milan, because they're out of Europe, I put them in a 25% chance. They have a very good squad, and they have a very good coach who's capable of getting the most. Juventus and Roma, we give an outside chance. Roma, because they've conceded so few goals that you have to give them the respect to be there. Maybe in January they're going to sign somebody, a striker that could actually put the ball into the back of the net. So I'm going to give them 5%, and Juventus 5%. They have Spalletti, they have some quality. Do I think they're going to challenge? No. But there's a chance. There's some hope.
No, so take away that 5% for Juventus. That's a wasted slice there.
It's a tiny slice.
Give it to Milan on 30%.
Just for reference as well, the Opta showed that Inter have a 50% chance of winning it. It was 49.93, while Napoli was at 16.5.
16% Napoli.
Yeah, this is really
Did you make that, or was that Opta?
Opta. Nothing to do with me.
You're listening to too much of Grella.
OK, Grella, let's start with Napoli then. Let's start with why they can win the Scudetto.
Why they can win? Yeah. I think he mentions Antonio Conte is the most winning coach. Obviously, it's difficult to count him out. And they have a lot of guys who have won, right? I think that's a big point. We talk about Arsenal all the time. We talk about can they do it, because they don't have a lot of guys that won in that group. Knowing how to win is a whole nother story, no matter what you're doing. And they have a bunch of players throughout the years that know how to win. Anguissa, Lobotka, Rachmani in the team, Di Lorenzo, very important blocks. And why I think they'll struggle is just it's sometimes grinding gear. Watching them try to break down low blocks, which most teams are. They have a lot of hopeful crosses, and then conceding a lot more goals than they did last season. Last season, much more organized, playing only in Europe. So that's why I think they will struggle. They do lack the creativity spark. They signed Kevin De Bruyne to get that spark, gave it to them for a little while. Obviously, now we know he's injured. So where are they going to get that from? I'm not so sure.
Especially with Lukaku out, people don't realize Lukaku actually helps a low block because he could hold off the defender, right? He had double digits in goals and assists. So Højlund has completely different qualities. Højlund's okay running in behind. Yes, very good. Luka
running to the sidelines away from the goal.
Luka, I mean, they signed $35 million for nothing. But Lukaku is really important in those games. He helped them out massively. He's coming back. He's on his way back. But I agree. Those are the reasons why, when you have to weigh things up, why they wouldn't and why they would.
Okay, what about Inter then, Nigel? Why will they and why won't they win the Scudetto this season?
Well, similar a bit to like Grella, I think for me, Inter have got a good chance because they've got the experience. They've done it before. Recent Scudetto winners. You talk about also making it to Champions League finals. They've got that experience, the same players. They're attacking firepower for me. You talk about Marcus Thuram, and they've reinforced that with Bonny coming in and Martinez up top. You need to score goals. You need goal scorers to separate yourself from the rest, which is what they got. Why they won't? Aging back line, Acerbi, Marco hit on it. Inter concede a lot of goals that they have, and they look very fragile. And for me, I think the other reason with Inter is, yes, they're a team, and we love the team dynamic, but sometimes you need a maverick. You need that one player, that individual match winner. And Inter don't have that. They're such a good team, very good players, high-level players. But sometimes you need that someone who thinks different, someone outside the box who could be a match winner when they need it. And I don't think that they have that player.
I would add one thing to why they won't, and this is my reasoning, is because they're top 8 right now in Champions League, right? They're most likely going to finish in the top 8. They're the team in Italy that will probably go the furthest, right? We saw them go to the Champions League final. They've tried to weigh up all these different competitions, whereas we know Antonio Conte, his career speaks for itself. If he does not feel like they're getting Champions League, he'll go all out on that, and he only wants to win one.
He never feels like he's getting Champions League.
Yeah, but even in the past, even in Europa League with Juventus, I remember they had the final, the Europa League final at his home. He wanted a 102-point record. He wanted to go in history there rather than win in Europe. So he'll make that justification. I'm not so sure Inter will. I think Inter will try to fire on all fronts, and in the end, you might get none.
Yeah, they try to spread their eggs across lots of baskets, don't they, which we saw from Inzaghi last season when he reminded everybody that they were still in 4 competitions in the home stretch before obviously failing to win any of them.
The Easter Bunny?
That was like an English reference, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we use that.
Yes.
Yeah, OK. Milan, what about them then under Max Allegri, Grell? Because they're a bit of a dark horse, right, for this season's Scudetto?
Yeah, I think the reason why they'll be competitive this season is they have no European football. We saw what that meant for Napoli and Antonio Conte last season, and Allegri has given them a simple identity. Obviously, Milan wanted to play really good football, and they have for large parts of the previous seasons, but once they finished in 8th place, they were like, okay, enough of this. Let's get Allegri, and we need to make top 4. With the no European football, it gives them an outside shot of winning the Scudetto. I do think they overly rely on Pulisic and Leao for sure. They rely on.
You still think they rely on Leao?
Yeah, I mean, Leao on the counter scares you, and he moves pieces.
Look what he did against Roma.
Guys. Look what he did against Roma.
That
basically
goal.
Set up the goal for Pavlovic, and then lastly, I just worry about the back 3 of Pavlovic has improved a lot, but Gabbia, Tomori at times, Di Vinter, have we seen enough yet? I mean, we'll see. So. Yeah, and Luka Modric, obviously, is
sent him a shirt. He's got to put him on everything now.
It's the truth.
What about Juventus then, Nigel? You said it's a waste of time them being in this conversation, so this shouldn't be very long.
I mean, listen, Spalletti, a manager who knows how to win the Scudetto. For me, again, I think Yildiz and Kefren Traum are the only real bright spark. And outside of that, Di Gregorio, I think he's an unsung hero, really and truly, for this Juventus side. Why they won't, players individually are not good enough. Squad is not good enough to compete for Serie A and also in the Champions League. It's that simple.
So why'd you tell me to get rid of the slice if you made a whole PowerPoint on this?
I just gave 2 good points. I gave the whole reason why.
You told me to get rid of my little...
Okay, we just saw proof of it. Get rid of that slice and give it to Milan.
I don't know. The bottom line, not good enough.
Not good
Expert
enough.
analysis.
Sometimes it's the truth. You know?
What about Roma very quickly then, before we go to break? Grell, ins and outs for the Giallorossi?
Defensively sound, obviously. Gasperini, it's his new project. He's coming off winning Europa League. He's at a bigger club now, so maybe that's Gasperini is one of the most important coaches in Italian history. And then why they won't win? They just also not good enough. I don't think a team with Mancini, Cristante in there. Lenti, very slow, very soft. They rely a lot on Dybala and Sole. I think 2 players that are really difficult to rely on. Dybala's constantly injured. Sole can do some things, but not enough. He's not a center forward. They don't have any center forwards in the team. They don't score enough goals.
That's what you should have said there. The lack of a center forward and a striker. That is it.
Yeah.
That is the only weakness that Roma have.
They got some big weaknesses.
I'd love to see how many Matteo Bonetti has in the why they win column.
Except he put them in 4th place at the end.
That had them as a favourite at the beginning of the season. Thanks for watching this video from our CBS Sports Matchday coverage. For more analysis and for all of the games, including Serie A, EFL, as well as a full suite of UEFA club competitions like the UEFA Women's Champions League, sign up for Paramount+.